Good morning, painty friends. Gretchen Fleener here from paintertainment.com. It's Tuesday, it's 10, it's time for another tip. For this week's tip, I'm going to show you a couple techniques for painting feathers. So we'll do like a regular feather and a peacock feather. I'm using a 3/4 inch bolt angle brush. You can use any kind of flat or angle brush. The bigger the brush, obviously, the bigger your feather will be. So you can paint this first line or you can just imagine it. I'm going to just dot it in here so you can get the idea of where I'm going. I'm going to paint a feather pointing down here. So this line represents the quill here, basically, the center of the feather. And if you look at a real feather, you can see how, I'll lay it this way because that's the way I'll paint it. When you split them apart, all these pieces are angled, right? They angle up towards the tip of the feather. So if I pull them apart, we want to get that angle with our brush. Now you could paint just a solid feather like this one. I like to paint some of those little splits. I just think that adds a little bit of realism to it. So I'm imagining my feather having some little split spots like that. So I'm going to kind of echo that angle that we just talked about. I'm going to start just down from the tip. I'm going to come up. And then I'm going to go back down the other side. There's the tip of my feather. You can start from the point and go down, twist as you go down, or you can start down here and twist up. Either way, you get that shape. And then it's just a matter of continuing down that feather with some strokes and then leaving a gap wherever you want that split to be, like we talked about. And kind of twist it a little bit towards the end. And they're not perfectly symmetrical when they split like this. So maybe you stagger those little splits. That's one method to paint a feather. Now I'm going to load up with some blue. Now when you split these feathers, you kind of notice that there's a bit of an S curve in it. We're going to incorporate that in this next feather. So again, I'm going to just kind of imagine where that center of my feather is. I'm going to have this one coming out to the side. And I'm going to start like I did up here. This time I'll start from the tip. And then for this method, I'm just going to make this S curve. So this time I'm going from the center out instead of going down the side. Now this one is a little bit less random. Your brush shape is the same, so the splits are going to all be the same. But that's another real quick way to achieve a feather design and also capture that curve. Let's try a peacock feather. Peacock feathers are beautiful. I'm still in search of the perfect cake for this. I have one I really like, but it's already packed away in my glamper for my gig coming up. I'm going to try this one here, though, which I've never used. It's a brand new one. It's got some of that green and purple in it, though. You find whatever cake looks the best for you. And I'm going to start with imagining my center of my feather here. Now, they're a little bit more rounded on top. So I'm going to start with a more of a rounded start to my feather. And I think I'm going to do this kind of S curve method here because these are just really curvy compared to the other type of feather we painted. This is a pretty cake for this. I might use this on the job. And then to achieve all these frilly tips, all you do is just tap your brush all around the edge, and that really makes it scream peacock feather. So there's 3 different ways you can paint a really quick feather. You can also use stencils. There's a lot of great stencils out there, but if you forget your stencil at home, you know that all you need is your 1-stroke cakes and a flat brush, and you can create some pretty cool looking feathers. If you want, you can continue that down the feather a little bit. Peacock feathers do have that real dark spot in the center. Now this isn't exactly realistic copy, but I feel like if you can get that shape in there, that really sells it as a peacock feather. Then you could do whatever you want from here if you want to add any outlines or paint down the center. But as they are right now, they're perfectly fine feathers. So I hope that you guys have some places to use feathers in your designs. I know I will be using them a lot here this coming Memorial weekend with my glitter glamper booth all set up at the fair. We have an owl design that has a little owl bling with a feather on it, and we're going to be painting feathers around the eyes. I would love to know how else you use feathers in your designs. Feel free to share any of the designs that you like to paint that include feathers. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 10 for another tip. Happy painting!